Here are the people who took part in this morning's Sustainable Transit Challenge.
Yeah.
The first person to arrive,
the car.
Jeff Hopper.
Yes.
In a CTV vehicle.
I'd love to take all sorts of credit for it, but there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things we need to mention. First of all, it's a perfect weather day,
yes.
which actually worked in Graham's favor as well.
Yes.
But also, I don't know that, I mean, we look at the traffic cams every day,
yes.
and today the downtown core is smooth sailing in from the east. I don't know why. It was easy.
He rigged it.
Graham Richardson from CTV was the second person to arrive by the bicycle. That's a very nice bicycle. Yeah, do you have a good ride this morning?
It was a great ride. It's funny, the adrenaline was going. And I know it's supposed to be like, oh, let's see how, it was like a race. We were full on. The guy I was riding with, Alistair, really wanted to win. There's a couple of things that you notice, of course, when you're doing that and trying to beat the clock, is you got to be careful.
Yes.
But you can do it if speed or if getting A to B quickly is the big thing.
Right.
Cycling in the city, there's lots of options. We went through a really nice, quiet residential street that was the bike path. We could have connected to the bike path along the river,
right.
Which is a beautiful ride, and it's a gorgeous morning, so I feel great.
Well, and you were only a few minutes behind. Jeff.
3, I think, right?
Yeah,
3 or 4?
We were watching it with your iPhones, tracking your iPhones
right.
and stuff, and it was pretty close in the
end.
Yeah, because Jeff had to go get a parking ticket.
That's right. I had to buy parking for the day, which was $18 in the lot next door. So we were all given a $20 bill, right?
Yeah. How much money do you have left?
Yeah, you came in first, but finished last financially.
Did we factor in the fact that this $2 doesn't really exist as well because it cost me fuel to get here?
Yep. Right,
So
exactly.
we have to think about that.
And I mean, I've
How much you got left?
I've got $16.75 because the bus costs you $3.25.
Yeah.
$3.20 if you buy tickets.
But
who came out on top with a full 20?
You got your 20 bucks.
I have 20, but
Jessica gets that back. Do you get that back, Jessica?
There you
Don't
go.
give it to the mayor, for God's sake.
Yeah, don't be handing the mayor
Now
money.
listen, as mayor of this fine city, and obviously very concerned about getting people around, it's been an issue for a long time. What's your assessment of what happened this morning?
Well, first of all, thank you to all 3 participants. This gives us a fun way to celebrate National Sustainable Transportation Week and to recognize there are different ways to get to work. For some people, cycling is not an option, but transit is.
Yeah.
Some people will always have to drive or want to drive. But it gives us all an opportunity to celebrate the fact that we've got a really great cycling network of paths that make it safer for people.
Yeah.
The bus system, when you go through the transitway system, when I took the bus out last week to the 174 to Trim, we were whizzing right by the backlog because of the construction at the sinkhole. So it was a reminder to me, once again, that our transitway is a really good system. When light rail comes, it's going to be even better because it's going to give you that segregated lane to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible.
Right.
And the other thing that we're doing is we're putting a lot more money into cycling to make it safer so people can feel comfortable cycling all season long.
Yeah.
And I drive and I do a mixed bag. I mean, I don't commute with my bike, but I ride a lot and I use it for exercise. And I know that a lot of drivers have strong feelings about cyclists following the rules of the road, and I try to do that. I can't tell you enough about, I ride quite a bit, and West Hunt Club, when you're on a bike lane, when you have room and you know the rules and the drivers know the rules, it is a wonderful way to get around the city. And I would never try to preach to anybody that you got to do this instead of that, because I have kids. I get it. I mean, I can't take my son to hockey practice on this thing.
No.
But it is, if you can do it every once in a while, even, it's a great way to start the day.
Well, yeah.
And this city is really good for it.
Jessica, were you disappointed to see the vehicle finish first this morning?
No, I mean, I was actually surprised because we've been practicing the routes to find the most fair route to give it the best competition, and the last 3 times the bike has won every time, so I was a bit surprised. Traffic was...
It was the ride.
But I mean, it's a matter, and in many cases, a matter of circumstances when it comes to traffic on the roads, right? The thing that strikes me a little bit is the money situation.
Right.
I mean, we're not factoring in the gas that you burned.
No.
Right.
We haven't factored in the fact that I have to pay insurance on that vehicle. I have to make a monthly payment for the vehicle itself usually.
Right. So.
And gas is huge.
And Jessica mentioned earlier this morning too the physical stress of sitting in traffic, the attention needed for driving.
I couldn't do it.
We were just sitting on the bus chatting to random people
You're
enjoying
able to surf the net, and anything on your phone.
I'd have to have a chopper like the mayor has. to get her.
Force One.
Mayor Force One, yeah.
When the bus works, and they say they are working on better customer service and better time. Yeah. When the bus works, it is a very relaxing way to get to work. Yeah. And you talk to anybody when they make their connection, they're happier than anything.
Well, you know? And I may have come third, but I was still only a few minutes behind you, and door to door from Saint Laurent to the moment I stepped into the office was something like 16 minutes.
And you spent just over $3.
$3. Right? That's not a bad commute, if you ask me.
Last thing for driving is, don't forget, if you're going to do that, if it's something that you have to do for some reason or it's something you prefer to do, feel free to pile 4 other people in with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing, right? If you're going to drive, if you have the opportunity to include some people you work with or work in the same area or on the same shift, that becomes a little more economical. And
we got for the first time in Eastern Ontario the HOV lane, a high occupancy vehicle lane on the Queensway, and another one will be built coming back into the city as the construction goes out by Scotiabank Place. So it encourages people to carpool, which is, it's more economical because it is expensive to have a car. As Jeff pointed out, you've got your insurance. Gas prices aren't going down. We saw them, hit a pretty high mark last week.
As all of us know, parking downtown is
brutal.
It's cheap compared to other Canadian cities, as we know, but it's still expensive. Like it's a couple $100 a month.
The other obvious is health. Right? When you're moving, you feel it's a great way to start the day. You feel better.
Yeah. Whether it's the bike ride or just walking. That walk to the bus, that nice fresh air.
Yeah.
Right. That run to the car wasn't very strenuous.
No, sure wasn't.
No, not at all. We do have the fantastic finishes of all 3 of you. And I was watching very closely, and was very close between you and Graham, especially. Sarah wasn't far behind. Here's Jeff pulling in. Of course, you had a pretty easy way on the road. It's hard to see. Yeah. Pretty easy way on the road today, but you did have the added time of pulling into the parking lot, going to get the ticket to put in your vehicle, and then arriving at your destination.
$18 whole for a day.
Here's Graham, and I mean, Graham, it's point A to point B, right, on a bike.
Yeah.
And we have a bike rack out back where people park theirs and stuff.
And this is a bit of a fancy road bike. I've got an old sort of, mountain bike that I use with road tires on it as well. You don't have to get a big rig.
Oh yeah, he's
look at the fancy shoes.
Yeah. I lost them.
There's Sarah arriving. Of course, you had to walk from EnviroCentre, right?
A brisk walk, yes, indeed. But the nice thing is, I know, Graham, you were talking earlier how it's difficult to bike to work because you've got your suit, because you need to shower when you get here. Yeah. But public transit, I was wearing my running shoes when I was walking here. I had my bag on my shoulder.
You just
got my
change
dress
your shoes,
and heels for the day, and you're ready to go.
I'll tell you what, and it's odd for us because we come to work so early. And there's some of our people who get the bus in, but if I had the opportunity to get a bus and get to work, I would definitely take it. I mean, or get to a light rail station when that becomes available. I would definitely do that.
It took me 25 minutes to get from downtown to Trim Park and Ride, and we're expanding our park and rides too, so you can combine the best of both worlds. And all 3 worlds, because we have on a lot of the bikes, the buses, we have bike racks. So you can actually bike somewhere, and if it's too far, put your bike on the bike rack, the rack and roll program it's called, and then take the rest of the trip in. So there are creative ways of getting to work. It doesn't always have to be the single vehicle car.
I think, and the other thing too, cities that I've lived in, I noticed that when you get trains, it changes people's perception of public transit. And for whatever reason, people have this feeling about getting on the bus. They don't like it, but the train's different. The train's different. The subways are different, and I think it's just the experience and the speed and the fact that it's underground. It's just a different experience.
Listen, I want to thank you all for taking part, and a very cool experiment we had on the show today. And really interesting to see it happen live right in front of our eyes.
So fun.
And Jeff did go the speed limit no matter what people say. And Sarah was on the right bus.
Yeah, she really was.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, it's Sustainable Transportation Week. Think about that right across the country. Something to keep in mind.